I followed Raila Odinga's maiden Muran'ga tour since the last general election, and it's coming amidst the bipartisan talks that is going on. And I must say that I wanted to attend that meeting, but the moment I realized that police had cancelled it, nilingia baridi, because I thought then there would be chaotic scenes there. Now that police had actually cancelled it, and I think what was the rationale behind cancelling it was just to create the anxiety so that people would keep off. And it's good that Raila decided, come rain, come sunshine, let me go. And there is a voice. My observation, my attention was on the messaging. I'll try to look at the scenes of Muran'ga in my next analysis. But in this analysis, I wanted to look at the messaging behind leaders. And for me, I was paying attention into what exactly would be the message that they would want to tell Mount Kenya in the wake of attacks against Azimio la Umoja's mass action. And again, whether they were going to take the information of the stolen victory there and how the residents there would relate with it. And I think they decided after they decided to have a closed door meeting, People's Baraza, then after that hold a roadside rallies on their way back to Nairobi. There are two speeches that really struck me, and I want us to narrow down to the two. You can take it or leave it. Mwangi wa Iria is what you need three of Mwangi wa Irias to bring in what I analyzed days to the last general election, something called the voice of reason or Mount Kenya consciousness. That is what is it. And I said that for the mountain, you just need a bit of that to trick that consciousness so that the gullible young people that have been really sold all sorts of lies against Uhuru Kenyatta administration, all sorts of lies against Raila Odinga, I think that will come. And I'm glad that there are leaders that are picking it from where Kanini Kega and Sabina Chege left it. That was a journey that was started, saying all those things were lies, and of course debunking those tribal stereotypes was started by Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega, but sadly they dropped on the way. So the Mwangi wa Iria of our day are actually carrying that spirit. The discussion about creating a wedge between two tribes, Kikuyu and Luo. And I think Mwangi wa Iria has a right position about this.
Hii uhasama kati ya makabila lazima tumalize. Hii story ya wanasiasa wa Wakikuyu kazi yao ni kutembea na kuleta uhasama kati yetu na Wanjaluo. Wakati wa mwingine, wakati wa vita za 2007 ilikuwa uhasama kati yetu na Wakalenjin, si ndio? Tukachochewa tukauana. Urafiki ikakuja. Rais Kenyatta akaleta urafiki kati yetu na Wakikuyu na Wajaluo. Sasa ile tunasikia ni mambo ya ati Wajaluo na Wakikuyu. Sisi ni wafanyabiashara, na tukianza chuki kati yetu na makabila zile zingine, si tutaumia. Ukienda Kisumu unakuta Wakikuyu wakiuza mali, ndio? Wewe unataka tupigana na Wajaluo? Unataka wale Wakikuyu wetu, brothers zetu wako Kisumu wakiuza mali wafanywe nini? Ile nilikuwa nataka kufanya leo ni kuanza safari ya urafiki kati yetu na Wajaluo na kabila zingine, si ndio? Hapa kuna Mjaluo, kuna Mbaluya, kuna Mteso, kuna kila kitu. Hii jiri inahubiliwa hapa na sana na Gachagua ya uhasama. Huyu ni mzee wa kuita mwenda wazimu kweli? Si ni kama babu yako? Si ni kama baba yako? Na unamuita hiyo majina kwa nini? Wewe una babu yako nyumbani, si ndio? Una baba yako.
he is speaking about something. And what he's simply creating is saying is, we cannot continue to preach the tribal warfare. We cannot continue the tribal warfare because it doesn't add any value. And according to me, I think the ambition, the objective of that Muran'ga tour was to start a discussion about, is it necessary for creating the tribal wedge? Because what people have done have been doing for better part of first 20th century, especially the young politicians from the mountain, is to demonize Raila Odinga. Until there was a senator who was stupidly saying they want to put the image of Raila in some alcohol brand so that people will buy it. And I said, dare do that, you're going to revolutionize that illicit brew, and it might even turn tragic. People will actually buy it. They will drink it to the core. I want us to look at the next speech from my member of parliament, but before that, allow me to remind you about our fundraiser on the support to the masses family that is going on until weekend. Yet to get a motorbike and to support them, at least start off. The target is now, we were targeting the 70. We've got around 17,000 now. So we're around 53,000 share of it. I believe this will be achieved so that by Monday, we can get the motorbike for the husband. Thank you very much for those who are supporting. I've pinned the number up there, 0710 62 78 89. Kevin Olo. And God will uplift us together. Now, back to our politics. My member of parliament, Mwenje, this is from Nairobi member of parliament, pointed out to how Raila Odinga, despite he is a member of parliament in Nairobi, and true to it, I attended a rally that Raila lifted his hands in a primary school known as Tumaini Primary School. Tumaini Primary School is in Umoja. And all the other candidates, all the other ODM supporters actually vowed to support him. And it was through that because Mwenje was vying against Theory. Both of them were Kikuyus. So if Raila would not have withdrawn their candidate, they would have made it. I wanted to listen to him expounding on this.
Mimi nikisimama kiti ya ubunge 2017 tulikuwa tunashindana na ODM. Hiyo wakati kura ikutosha. 2022 tukashikana. Na mimi singekuwa hapa kama huyu mzee hakuniinua mkono. Hiyo nisiwadanganye. Kwa sababu yeye aliondoa mtu wa jamii yake, akasema wacha tuweke hii kijana anaitwa Mwenje hapo. Nikatangaliwa kuwa mbunge. No mugene moka fira kweli. Ile daroga mire nani? Ile keutike hoto. Mimi nataka kuwaambia hivi. Tafadhali. Kule bunge, juini tamu yangu ya kwanza nimeingia kule. Ile mambo nimeona, huyu mzee aliona mbali kitambo. Wakati tulikuwa tunazunguka BBI, tulikuwa tunasema one man, one vote, one shilling. Tulikuwa tunasema tunataka mawaziri wakuje bunge lakini tuibadilishe kwa katiba. Tulikuwa tunasema kuna kiti ya leader of opposition inafaa itengenezwe. Maodo maumo de mama shoketi yole. Nemotorona vaishi.
Now, I am a witness of what Mwenje is saying. I saw here. Were it not for Raila Odinga whipping the ODM supporters to support him, he was going to lose against Theory. And remember, their race was very tight between him and Theory because for the Gema people in Embakasi West, actually, they were divided. So that to me is significantly important. And I think those who were planning that event, or rather the Muran'ga trip, they had one message. And their intention is to continue where the rest left it. And doing those stereotypes. That person, because what the lie that has been told all along is that Raila is the enemy of game. And I've been wondering, honestly, this is not it. But it's been done in the altar of politics. So that demonizing, and this time round, I realized that what Sabina Chege and the team were doing, They started, but they started late. I think it was like a year, some few months to the general election. But Ruto immediately he won. Immediately they got their second term in 2017. He started campaigning. So to me, Raila Odinga heading there and starting that and getting the team to lead that campaign is very important, and it's a long shot that can also yield fruits in terms of Azimio campaigns in future. Now, in a separate event, sidebar, this is politically important, and I have decided to talk about it. Historic Field Marshal, and I remember analyzing here, Muthoni Kirima and her family visited former First Lady, the very First Lady Mama Ngina's home to thank her for holding their plea for help and coming to their aid. And according to what we've received, is that Mama Ngina Kenyatta cleared a pending bank loan owed by Field Marshal Kirima's family and bought her a 3-bedroomed house upon the Field Marshal's request, shaved off her dreadlocks to symbolize her return to society after years of fighting in the forest. Now, these events are politically significant because, for me, it consolidates the cultural aspect. And that public appearance by Mama Ngina, I've also seen, I wanted to look at the other photo that has emerged, is her being given the sheep or the goat. This is symbolic because to me, it points out to maybe now community showing that we still value you, or rather you're still part of us. And it's part of, according to me, their corporate social responsibility. But then, these two events, even that and Raila Odinga's tour there, still tells you that there is still deeper interest, political interest vested in future engagements. Even though I want to pick it up from Iria. And there is something that maybe someone has not told Rigathi. Muran'ga ghosts, and if there is a place that will be very complicated in the whole Mount Kenya for Rigathi Gachagua, the most difficult area for him to try everything to handle, and the ghosts are going to conspire against him, sorry, that is Muran'ga. And I'll tell you this, pay attention to these 6 factors that I'm going to tell you. Muran'ga is a different story. And what Mwangi wa Iria is saying, Mwangi wa Iria is just one. If you think Mwangi wa Iria is the threat to Rigathi, and if he thinks it's about Mwangi, I don't think it's that. In terms of Muran'ga, you will agree with me that these 6 ghosts, or these 6 factors, are the ones that are going to conspire against Rigathi. Let me tell you. Do you know that majority, and there is this research, I think it was done last year, majority of these traders around Nyamakima, majority of these traders come from Muran'ga. That's it. Now, Muran'ga is normally an extension of Nairobi, by the way. You will agree with me on these factors. Just do your research. You'll realize that most of them, the Nyamakima and the areas are going to the Thika Road side, majority of them are actually the people who stay in Muran'ga and work here. So, the business interest there, Uhuru was highly blamed for the counterfeit fights that affected the businesses. But now, in terms of protecting the business interest, I am seeing Rigathi Gachagua have done less, and he has failed to capture them in terms of what exactly is going on. A good example is China Square. Those who were behind the move to the China Square outcry, majority come from it. So in terms of that business interest, I am not seeing him holding grip of that. But that is lighter one. Let me give you the one that I see. The devil is on the regional balance in terms of the balance of power. Because this is it. Jomo Kenyatta came from Kiambu and became the first president. And after Jomo Kenyatta, we had Mwai Kibaki, the other Kikuyu who came president and came from Nyeri. And then after that, it went back. The reins of power went back to Kiambu when Uhuru Kenyatta too became president. So after Uhuru Kenyatta, it went back to Nyeri, which is now Rigathi Gachagua becoming deputy president. So you know what's going on here? The other space that is remaining is Muran'ga. And in terms of the rotational aspect, Muran'ga has remained aloof, but they are the center of power. And I'm going to tell you in my third point where they're the center of power. You see the emergence of Ndindi Nyoro, and many have argued that given Ndindi Nyoro and Rigathi, maybe if there is to be an election in Mount Kenya and the Mount Kenya people to vote for their kingpin or someone to be fronted between Ndindi Nyoro and Rigathi, not both of them are not the best, but someone will settle for Nyoro compared to Rigathi. And I can tell you that of late, Ndindi Nyoro and Rigathi have not been, look for photos, events they attended together, very rare. The day, last Saturday, when Rigathi Gachagua led a team to plant trees, I think in Nyandarua, Ndindi Nyoro accompanied William Ruto to Narok for a rally. And he did not go with the Rigathi team. And there are quite a number of events that Ndindi Nyoro has been skipping. So that tells you that's not it. And that factor is bolstered by my third aspect, that the Mount Kenya powerhouse, the money bags, they come from Muran'ga. So just try to look at those billionaires. Majority of those who are even supporting William Raila Odinga under the Mount Kenya Foundation, under the Mount Kenya Foundation organization, most of them come from Muran'ga. So these are people that have business interests. And with the current trend of nyakwa, the grabbing culture, where you see commercial interests being vested and it's playing against. One thing that why people supported Raila Odinga is that Raila was more of a clean hand and would not have deep of that infiltration. Now, the two gentlemen we have, the mabwenyenyes of the Muran'ga and the Mount Kenya team, see very well that, see them as people who are coming for takeover. So this is a factor that can conspire against Rigathi Gachagua penetrating that region. And I can tell you that meeting can have a blessing of this team. The other third aspect is the coffee and the tea pledge. That cuts across. And I realized during that session, it came up that where is the question of coffee and tea. And apart from that, the two cabinet appointees, Alice Wahome, come from Muran'ga, and Treasury Ndumu also come from Muran'ga. These are centers of power. You cannot despise them. So for you to ride through, there is already bit of these are people that sit in the same cabinet, and the two work closely with William Ruto. I can tell you that these other centers of power is going to be a very difficult space for Rigathi Gachagua to penetrate through. And that's why I believe it's not about this, but the question of the tribal card should be dropped as early as now, especially creating the wedge, because we are planting a venom that will be difficult. In the fullness of time, we may not reap good fruits from this. That's my bold, and thank you for watching. This is the video of the couple we are helping. So kindly, let's try.
It started after my wife gave birth at Pumwani Hospital.
Date?
On date 20th February. So after she gave birth, mtoto alikuwa nursery after 5 days. So after 5 days from nursery, we went back home. We were just home, things were well. After some few weeks, then wife got complications. Alianza ku bleed, mysteriously bleeding, and I was shocked. Ran out to call the doctor, and the doctor told me to bring the lady in the hospital.
Wapi? Unaishi wapi?
Okay, naishi Dandora.
Okay.
Phase 5.
Okay.
So daktari alijaribu akashindwa. The lady was seriously bleeding. Akaniambia nitafute taxi to rush mgonjwa Kenyatta. Nikafanya hivyo, tukafika Kenyatta. Wakati nilifika Kenyatta, mama alikuwa admitted na from hapo, so
alikuwa admitted sasa Kenyatta.
Alikuwa admitted Kenyatta hospital.
Na wakati alikuwa admitted the child now, but the child
okay,
the child is fine
by the time,
but then this is the child,
yeah,
and
this is my baby.
This is your baby, and
yeah.
Ni baby boy and
baby boy to Jason.
Oh good, even my son was born in February. So now where are you from first?
Okay, right now I'm from the Kenyatta Hospital. Nilipeleka mtoto kunyonya, and that is how I always do it. Nampeleka, ananyonya, namrudisha kwa nyumba.
Unampeleka kila siku?
Daily.
In the morning ama unakana the whole day?
No. Nampeleka in the evening. In the evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then sasa sasa ukitoka unaenda tu mnalala.
Sasa nikitoka naenda kwa nyumba. So nikiwa pale kwa nyumba, mtoto ana survive na maziwa ya kuchemsha. Nachemsha, naongeza maji kidogo. And that's it.
Wow. You've really impressed me. How about the child? Alikuwa sawa hata wakitoka Pumwani?
Okay, mtoto wakati tulikuwa tunatoka Pumwani, mtoto since alikunywa ile amniotic fluid, ile uchafu, so mtoto amekuwa na shida hiyo ya kungorota, anangorota. Ni kama anafungana hewa.
Okay.
So doctors gave me some medicine, ile ya kudrop kwa mapua wakati anatoa hiyo sauti. So hiyo ndo nimekuwa nikitumia, but still at times nasikia anatoa hiyo sauti kama
hata sasa nasikia na
hata sasa. Yeah.
What did the doctors in Kenyatta say was the problem?
Doctors in Kenyatta waliniambia mama wakati alizaa kuna vile mtoto alimrarua, they got a tear. So walimshona, alienda theater wakamshona.
Na alizaa normal?
Alizaa normal.
Na tear. Okay. So, anafaa show me or something. Okay.
Yeah.
We may not understand because we don't have a lady here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was what was bringing the complication about the bleeding.
Yeah.
Guys, I was told this, and I really got touched by his story, Stephen's story. You know, when he was telling me you were in Kenyatta, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So it's been there for how many days?
Since date second.
Date second.
Yeah.
The bill is?
The bill is 80,000.
80,000.
Yeah.
Wow. But then, now that you take care every evening, when do you go to work now? Do you even go to work now that?
No. Okay. About my work, I'm a bodaboda rider. Na pikipiki naendesha ni ya mtu na ni ya loan. So wakati nilikuwa na hii shida, pikipiki ilibidi tu iendelee kufanya kazi sababu inalipwa daily. So mwenyewe alichukua na alitafuta mwingine aendelee.
Oh, so your work is kuendesha boda?
Yes.
So because of this, that is you can. But then how do you survive? Okay, you should not ask that. So should get what is the terms of the loan? How much do you pay to get a pikipiki and loan so that you pay for the boda maybe?
Okay, for now, loan walipandisha deposit. Kwa saa hii deposit ni 25,000.
Okay. Then so if you get 25,000,
yes,
you go and pay, and you're given a motorbike on loan.
Yeah.
Then you pay is the rest in installments.
Yeah.
Which you can manage.
I can manage to get 500 per day.
You unapata in this around Dandora.
Yeah.
Wow. Guys, I brought Stephen here because I wanted us to get feel of this story, and this is one we can do this. We've always done this. This is 80,000. Today's date 14. If you give yourself 1 week, Friday. Yeah, so let's try. Let's do a 50 shillings challenge. I've decided I'm going to share the number, nobody's number, because of a bit of that disturbance, but I am also asking those who can be willing to reach out to me. My number is there. I'll directly connect you with him so that whichever God has blessed you with, at least talk. So Mama amekaa hospitali for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you guys are young couples, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, and may God bless you for being a father to this child. I know it's really touching. It's really touching the heart, and I believe that as Bold family, this will come to an end. I know we will find a way. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Sawa. Asante. Aya.